Good morning. Let me go grab a cup of coffee. I'll be right with you. Good stuff. I got something to talk about today. Give me a sec. I got notes. I want to talk more Hollywood crap today. Specifically the Hays Code, the production code that hit Hollywood in 1922, I believe. It was a set of rules created by the, I guess, moral majority that told Hollywood what they could and couldn't put into their movies. I guess they were sort of policing the cinemas to make sure that the moviegoers wouldn't be negatively influenced by what they saw on the screen. Because that, as we know today, if you see violence on the screen, you're going to go out and be violent, I guess. Anyway, it concerns two movies called Waterloo Bridge. The first one was filmed in 1931 by James Wales. It's the same James Wales who filmed Frankenstein, right? In fact, Frankenstein was so successful that he got the chance to make this movie that he really wanted to make. And it's a story about a woman, an American woman living in England who's a prostitute. She meets a Canadian soldier on a bridge, Waterloo Bridge. They fall in love. And I'm going to spoil things. By the end of the movie, he finds out she's a prostitute, doesn't care. They decide to get married. And then he goes off to fight the war. She gets killed in a bombing raid by the Nazis. That was the original movie. By 1935, the movie could not be shown anymore because the Hays Code really took effect. Hollywood and theaters became really paranoid about it. And there was a problem with this movie. You see, the problem was they treated her, the prostitute, with sympathy. That's not right. You can't treat a prostitute with sympathy. She's dirty. Ew. So in 1940, MGM decided they wanted to remake this movie, which was originally made by Universal. So they bought all the rights. They even bought the old film, the negatives, the book, the play, whatever. But to make it, they had to make some major changes. The first one is, well, I don't know if this had anything to do with the Hays Code, but suddenly the two characters were both English. They weren't an American and a Canadian. But the big change was when they meet on Waterloo Bridge, she's not a prostitute yet. She's a ballerina. They fall in love. This was better, you see. He can't have a soldier fall in love with a prostitute. He has to fall in love with a girl who's not a prostitute. When he goes off to fight in the war and is believed to have gotten killed, and she's at home and loses her job, and she's got a roommate who's a prostitute, she gets sucked into that lifestyle in order to make a living. Of course, she was forced into this because without it, she would have had no food, no place to live. But still, it doesn't matter. She's dirty now. She's soiled. She's ugh. So he comes back. He wasn't killed. There's a scene at the train station where she's there for another reason, I think to meet a gentleman caller. And then they see him get off the train. Oh my God, you're alive! He can't be happier. They're going to get married. In fact, he takes her to his huge estate and meets the family, and of course she's all, oh my God, because she's been a prostitute. She cannot be happy. So at the end of the movie, she has this chance for happiness, but because of the Hays Code, she's not allowed to be happy. What does she do? She purposely walks in front of a truck to kill herself, because that's the only thing, according to the Hays Code, you could do once you were, once you have done one of these huge sins. I don't get it. I don't get the whole production code, but that's the way it was. In a lot of movies from the 1930s, 40s, 50s, the ends, the plots were always rewritten for one reason, to meet the Hays Codes. In fact, you can go online onto Wikipedia and you can read the rules that were written about what they could and couldn't put into movies. What a strange world we live in, huh? Anyway, I don't know what that says about anything. I just like a story like that, and oh my God, it's getting late. We better get on with the show. I gotta comb my hair. All right, I'll be back. Watch the opening credits, all right? And get yourself a cup of coffee.
Jeff. Coffee with Jeff. Coffee with Jeff. Coffee with Jeff. I once knew a man who used to drink his coffee black. He's seen it all and he's weathered it too. So Jeff wants to have some coffee with you. Coffee with Jeff. 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 Coffee with Jeff.
See where I am right now? See that blue home behind me? Can you guess who grew up in that house? Can you guess? You got 4 choices. Your choices for who grew up in this Kenosha home are Charlie Chaplin, Mickey Mouse, a black hole, or Orson Welles. If you chose Charlie Chaplin, you're not too bright. Charlie Chaplin grew up in England. If you said Mickey Mouse, you're even less intelligent because Mickey Mouse is a fictional character. If you said a black hole, you might want to get your brain looked at because a black hole forms in outer space when a star collapses. Yes, this is the childhood home of one Orson Welles. If you guessed that right, give yourself a pat on the back. Did you guess who grew up in that house right there? Yep, one of my heroes, Orson Welles. Today on Coffee with Jeff, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Orson Welles.
What's the matter now?
You had to pick on Sunday. How a working girl hates Sunday evenings. Come on, let's have some coffee.
Good morning. It's Sunday, time for coffee. I am your host, Jeff. How is everybody doing out there today? I think we got a good show lined up for you today, a really entertaining one, and all the usual people are back. Like I said in the beginning part, I'm going to talk a little bit about Orson Welles. That'll come later in the show. I'm fascinated by Orson Welles. I watch every YouTube interview I can find of the guy. I can just listen to him for hours. And no matter what you think about when you think of Orson Welles, whether you think about him being the child genius or the guy who took the New York stage scene by storm, at around the age of 20, or the biggest voice on radio who played both the original voice of the Shadow on radio and he did the famous War of the Worlds broadcast with the Mercury Theater. And then, of course, going to Hollywood and making a film that some people consider one of the best films ever made, and that's Citizen Kane. No matter what you think of him, we should always remember him as the guy who gave the Muppets the standard rich and famous contract at the end of the Muppet movie. That alone sealed his legacy. Anyway, enough talking about Orson Welles right now. We'll get back to it. I want to get right into Logan's Rock Report. If you don't know, Logan joined our show last week. This week he's going to do a very comprehensive and in-depth rock report. He's going to talk about the history of a band and really go into the what makes the band tick. So anyway, enough talking. Sit back now and let's watch Logan and his monthly rock report.
Sorry, no rock report, but go Blackhawks!
Over? What do you mean over? It's It's been like 15 seconds. What are we paying Logan for? Isn't he supposed to do like a 5-minute piece on a rock band? Really? We're not paying him, huh? Anyway, what Logan said. Go Blackhawks.
Remember, these products are primarily for women. For instance, did you ever notice that a man pours things this way? Well, women are smarter. Since they're not as strong as men, they pour this way. Who says so? The girls in the company test kitchens. They put all these products through their paces from the woman's point of view.
So let me ask you, friends, when is a tumor not a tumor, and at what point do you need a new body? Let's find out with What's the Deal with Willy Deal.
Today's news comes to us from Indianapolis. Tumor. It's generally a pretty bad word. Brain tumor. Even worse. 26-year-old Yemen Karmani was diagnosed by her doctors with a tumor on her brain. So when doctors started to remove the tumor, they realized it wasn't your average ordinary tumor, if there is such a thing. It turned out to be her embryonic twin lodged in her brain with teeth and hair. You know, that story just gives me a headache. Let's move on. In the medical news, an Italian surgeon is announcing he's going to be the first to do a complete head transplant. And there's actually a volunteer for this. There's a 30-year-old Russian man, whose name I'm not even going to try to pronounce, has a genetic disease where his muscles are weakening, and eventually it's going to kill him. But apparently medical expert Sergio Cannavario is having a pretty hard time finding a place to do this where he won't get arrested. There's got to be a country or an island somewhere where he can get this done. Dr. Frankenstein found one.
Good story, Willie, but you've got to imagine that one of the doctors, when they found out that lady didn't have a tumor, imitated Arnold Schwarzenegger and said,
"It's not a tumor. It's not a tumor at all."
Sinking on deeper down. My head is just spinning around and round. I can't seem to shake this feeling. Oh, my body is a rocket and reeling. Oh, it's such a funny feeling that I know this is the last time around for me. Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm sinking on deeper down. My eyes are blurred and I can't hear a sound. Fight! Help me fight! 'Cause I know this is the last time around for me, oh yeah. Oh, it's taking me over and it's swallowing me up. I'm caught in a landslide, I can't bend a gut. I've run out of time and I've run out of breath. I know this is the last time around, oh yeah. Oh. taking me over and swallowing me up. I'm caught in a landslide, I can't bend a rug. I'll run out of time and I'll run out of luck. I know this is the last time around. Oh yeah, last time around. Well, I know this is the last time around for me. Well, I know this is the last time around for me. Well, I know this is the last time around for me. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
And now it's time for a mug of the month. And this month we have a very special mug. I've been touched before with people sending me mugs. 2 months ago, my friend Pete from Las Vegas sent me that nice Las Vegas mug, which was above and beyond, and I really appreciated it. This month, Willy gave me a mug, and he had a custom-made On the Road with Willy / What's the Deal mug made just for Coffee with Jeff. I want to premiere it right now. I don't know if these are going to be commercially available or if they're just available. I got the prototype and it's me, but there's the On the Road side. And there's the What's the Deal side. Thanks, Willy, and thanks, Lisa. They both dropped it off when we got together earlier in the month. Coffee tastes so good out of a custom-made mug. And for all you out there, if you've got a mug that you'd like me to feature on Coffee with Jeff, just get a hold of me at coffeewithjeff@gmail.com. Next month, a mug from Hollywood.
Sometimes I think men are more interested in their work than they are their wives. I suppose so.
When me and Dawn were on one of our nature walks, we came across this fallen tree, obviously chopped down by beavers. I asked myself, what happened here? And then I came up with a theory. I imagined a male beaver chewing the bottom of the tree, a female beaver, his wife, standing by his side. She says to him, "Do you have any idea what you're doing?" Of course he responds, "Hey, I'm trying to chew here." Then she says, "It's going to fall the wrong way." He's like, "Hey, I know what I'm doing, woman. Leave me alone." Then the wife beaver says, "Well, you listen to me once in your life. It's going to be caught by the other trees. It's not going to hit the ground." So then it falls and gets caught in the tree, and the man beaver tries to come up with some excuse, but the female beaver starts saying, "Of course, you don't listen to me, do you? You never ever listen to me. But now, look what happened. We've wasted a whole day." And then the male beaver ends up sleeping on the couch. Now it's time for Scam Watch. This is the part of the show where I tell you about a scam that's being perpetrated out there so you can be better informed. Today we got 2 stories from the online dating world. In this first story, well, it made me chuckle a little, and then I felt guilty for chuckling. You see, it's about a woman named Penny Flying Horse who used the online dating site PlentyOFish.com. She's from Madison, South Dakota, and using PlentyOFish.com, she met Dwight Anthony. She loved Dwight Anthony. In fact, she said, "I loved him with all my heart. I would have done anything. And I did. I gave him everything." You see, they finally met on Christmas Day, and Dwight told her that he loved her, wanted to marry her, and wanted to buy her a nice house in Sioux City, South Dakota. So Penny sold her house, quit her job, and gave all her money, including her tax refund, to Dwight. Total amount, $7,500. They went to the jewelry store, picked out a nice ring. He said he'd come back and buy it later. Then they went to a motel. He dropped her off in front of her room, went over to, said he was going to be right back because he had to register. He never came back. Penny said, "I instantly got sick to my stomach because he had all my money." Jerk. Well, on the bright side, Penny was able to get her job back, and then the story appeared on the local TV. and Dwight's family saw the newscast, told Dwight he had to send the money back, which he did. Our second story is also from PlentyOFish.com, and it takes place in merry old England, where a mother, Karen Bell, 42 years old, attempted to blackmail a man she met on Plenty O Fish. You see, after meeting online, they met in person, and she was going to help fulfill one of his fantasies. So they went back to his place, where she proceeded to spank him, first with her hand and then with a shoe. Hey, whatever turns you on. But what he didn't know was Karen's son was secretly filming him, and they used that film to blackmail him. In fact, they called him on the phone and said, "We're watching the DVD of you getting spanked right now, and do you want your family to see this? If not, you got to come up with some cash." And he did pay her for a while, but eventually he went to the police, and he told the police that he had paid her a total of £55, which is about $84 US. Not quite the big blackmailing scam, huh? Anyway, Karen was arrested and is going to serve the next year in prison. And this has been Scam Watch, and I'm Jeff Kelly.
Well, let's get this straight, you hammer-headed little smart-aleck.
And now it's time for Orson Welles talk. No, I'm not really going to talk about Orson Welles. I am truly fascinated with the guy. I tend to like the type of person who would put all his money on the line to make his own vision come true. And that's what Orson did. He spent every penny trying to make his own films. Where a lot of the filmmakers today have the theory that you never put your own money into your own project. I don't know what's right. I just have a admiration for a person who's willing to do that. Anyway, while I was up in Wisconsin at Orson Welles' childhood home, I ran into this. Yes, an old-fashioned drive-in movie theater. I didn't even think these things existed anymore. This one looks like it had seen better days, but I couldn't help but stop and take a few pictures. Well, I'd really like to thank you for watching Coffee with Jeff. These shows are always fun to put together. When I saw Willy and he gave me the stylish mug, he did mention, "Are you actually thinking about going back to doing a weekly Coffee with Jeff?" And I don't think so. These shows take a lot of time for me to do. A lot of time. I give up pretty much a whole Saturday to put these shows together, and a lot of the bits I do ahead of time, and I'm just going to stick to once a month for a while anyway. But anyway, enough of my rambling. Thanks to everybody who helped. Love you guys. Love you all out there, and we'll be back next month with another Coffee with Jeff episode. So thanks a lot. Bye.
Coffee with Jeff. Coffee with Jeff. Coffee with Jeff. Coffee with Jeff. I once knew a man who used to drink his coffee black. He once tried it with some cream, didn't like it, now he never looks back. Coffee with Jeff. Coffee with Jeff. Coffee with Jeff. Coffee with Jeff. Met a girl from Beantown. Jeff was always hanging around. She drank tea, but that was okay. She was the dawn of Jeff's new day. Coffee with Jeff. Coffee with Jeff. Coffee with Jeff. Coffee with Jeff. Years go by and life's filled with change. Sometimes your plans get rearranged. He's seen it all and he's weathered it too. So Jeff wants to have some coffee with you. Coffee with Jeff. free.